What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are talking about the all-new 2020 Corvette C8. That is an insane car that just hit the market. We now have some pricing, we now know what it looks like inside and out, and it, in all honesty, I think has revolutionized the sports car industry and is going to completely change the way we look at pricing and valuing of sports cars. So with that said, the biggest thing is the new Toyota Supra. I have the VIN number, the whole window sticker of the car that I'm planning to buy, the new 2020 Supra. So I am looking to buy one. I reviewed the red launch edition not too long ago, as a lot of you guys know. And taking away pricing, BMW this, BMW that, Corvette this, it is a nice car. It is really nice. It's nicely put together. It's refined. It's a nice, proper sports car. We already know Toyota has completely lied about the horsepower. They claim 335 horsepower. They're dynoing at 370. So it is a 400 horsepower car. It is an awesome vehicle. I really like it. But with that said, pricing is very important when buying a car. Obviously, you're never going to overpay for a car. That's just stupid. With the new Corvette, though, it has completely changed my view on the Supra. And I've seen a lot of other videos with supercars and stuff. I think the new Corvette is going to kill the pricing of used supercars. Just to kind of deviate from the Supra stuff real quick, looking at a used Ferrari 458 or a Lamborghini Huracan, why would you spend 170 grand on one of those cars, a 2011 Ferrari, a 2015 Huracan, when $100,000 less you can spec a brand new Corvette, whatever spec you want, and it's going to be a better car. That's mind-blowing. It's crazy how Chevrolet was able to do that. So with that said, then talking about the pricing with the Supra versus the Corvette, first thing I do want to clear up some misunderstanding that a lot of people have. Everybody keeps saying in the comments, you know, the Supra is the same price as the Corvette. Why would you ever do that? When I made the review of the new Supra and all that, I'd say half the comments are about the C8. First and foremost, they are not the same price at all. The Supra starts at 50 grand. The Corvette apparently starts at 60 grand. So already we're at $10,000 difference. And the performance specs that we're reading on the Corvette, that is only with the Z51 package, which is like probably $5,000. So right off the bat, it's realistically like a $15,000 difference. They're not the same price. With that said, yes, you can get a base model Corvette, which nobody is going to be buying a base model Corvette. You can get a base model Corvette for maybe 3 or 4 grand more than the fully loaded Supra. So yes, pricing, they're within a couple grand if you spec it that way, but nobody will be buying a base Corvette. They're all going to be going for $70,000 to $80,000. So looking at that number, the actual realistic pricing of the C8, yeah, you're talking $15,000 difference from a nice premium Supra to a nice Z51, few options on a Corvette. No matter who you are, if you don't even like muscle cars, you cannot argue with the fact that the Corvette is an insane bang for your buck. I think the Corvette has always kind of been that bang for your buck sports car in this world, but now that it looks like a supercar, performs like a supercar, so many things about it are supercar, and yet it's still high-end sports car pricing, that is mind-blowing. So how has all this changed my opinion on the Supra and everything? It's making me not want to spend too much on the car. Now, when the launch editions were first getting delivered, which was a week before the new Corvette was completely unveiled, a lot of dealers were asking like $10,000 to $20,000 over sticker. Apparently people in California were bidding up to 30 grand more. People were listing them for $100,000. That has all completely gone away. The red one that I filmed, they were at 10 grand over MSRP. The next day they were at 5 grand over MSRP, and the next day they were at MSRP. So needless to say, you know, don't spend more on the Supra. It's just not worth it. People aren't doing that. You're getting them for MSRP all day long. So for me now, looking at this premium, this is a $57,700 car. Right off the bat though, this Toyota Guard Platinum is $700. I would have that taken off because that is a ripoff. For $700 you get 2 oil changes and a tire rotation. It's got staggered wheels, so that's irrelevant, and 2 oil changes do not cost $700. So already that's $700 off, which means we're at $57,000 sale price. 57 grand, I can get the new Corvette with a Z51 package for maybe 10 grand more. That is crazy to think about. Now, another thing on top of that is we can't actually get those Corvettes for 1 year from today. So talking with the Chevrolet dealership, as you guys know, we were looking at the C7, you can put in an allocation order. You can put in an order for a new Corvette right now, but you have to put like 15% down. So I could do that right now, but I won't be able to have that car for about 7 months. So to have that money tied up and not have the car, I can't exactly do, because then I'll have my money tied into a car that I can't even film and use. So once those are sold, which is the beginning of 2020, the normal ones will be hitting the dealer towards the summer, so about a year from now. So no matter what, we have about 1 year until the normal Corvettes are sitting in the lots like normal. So in the meantime, the Supra makes sense because I can't touch any other new awesome cool car for a year. But that definitely makes me think about just getting a base model Supra with navigation for maybe 53 grand, just getting it as cheap as possible just to have as little money into that car as possible. I still like the car though. It's an amazing car no matter what. It doesn't compete with the Corvette. It's not like a muscle car or anything like that. The new Supra is competing with a Porsche Cayman, a Jaguar F-Type, or maybe a BMW M2. And all those cars are around the $60,000 mark anyway, so it's not like it's overpriced or anything. It's just when you look at the pricing and the numbers, yeah, you can get a way better, way faster, way cooler car for not that much more. So it does make you kind of undervalue the Supra and undervalue any other car in that price range. Before the Corvette was out, before the even Supra was out, I had talked about, the new car coming out, saying that with Toyota working with BMW, it was going to make it to where this car was affordable and not going to be a $100,000 car, sharing the parts with the engine, the infotainment, a lot of that stuff. Because the new Supra, there's no getting around that it is built by BMW. It technically is a BMW product, even though Toyota has tuned the engine differently, the suspension, the body, a lot of it is still Toyota. But it's crazy how Toyota can make a sports car that is so many shared parts, and yet the new Corvette is completely brand new, every single thing in-house General Motors, and yet it's not that much more expensive. So it's kind of crazy how they got around the pricing like that. Maybe the engine itself is the most expensive thing to produce in a car. I'm not exactly sure, because I know with the new Corvette, the engine is pretty much the same one as the old car, just tweaked a little bit for the new car. So maybe not having to develop a brand new engine is why the Corvette can still be of an affordable price. And maybe with the Supra, if Toyota developed their own engine, maybe that's where the money would be. I'm not really sure. But then another thing to talk about is depreciation, because that's my biggest concern now with the Supra, because already we're seeing them go from 10 grand over sticker to MSRP in a week. That's a big difference, and nobody's wanting to spend 10 grand over sticker for the car right now. That's the only reason why they would go down. Pricing is purely supply and demand. If there's a high demand and a low supply, the price goes up. That is how business works. So with the Supra already now being at MSRP, is it going to lose $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in a year? Now, if I buy the new Supra, which I like the car, I want the car, it's a really fun car to drive, and for me, it's going to be the perfect daily. I'm kind of annoyed with driving the GTR as a daily just because around town it's not that good. I'd rather hold the GTR for just the fun driving because it's amazing to drive and the fun things, it's just not that fun around town. The Supra can do the normal boring driving, but it's still an amazing sports car. So it's not a car that I'm really looking to sell. I want to have it as my daily and then have the GTR cycle through, the next car, and stuff like that. But at the same time, if I'm not planning to sell it, I'd really hate to know that in a year from now I could only get like 40 grand for it and know that I would have lost like $17,000. So that's the biggest thing that I'm kind of struggling with. I don't want to buy a brand new car that is going to lose so much value if I were to sell it, because then that's all the equity I'm going into it day one is completely gone a year later. That's a big loss. And I think I'm just still unsure with the depreciation, because it doesn't really matter how much a car costs. That's kind of irrelevant. It's the depreciation that you actually will spend if you are flipping cars relatively quickly. So with my car, the GTR, I spent $67,000 sale price on it. I can still sell it for like 65 grand right now, even with 10,000 more miles. So for 2 grand to own that car for a year and a half, 2 years, I mean, who wouldn't spend 2 grand to own that car for 2 years? That's nothing. But to spend $10,000 to $15,000 for a car in 1 year, that's astronomically more. So that's my biggest concern now with the Corvette coming out with what it has to offer, $70,000, $80,000 well spec'd. You are getting so much for your money. You're getting a dual clutch transmission, the Targa roof, the interior is insane looking. There's so many color options. The exterior, there's Lamborghini customization with this new car. It is a true-on supercar, and yet, I mean, it's well under 100 grand. Even looking at the new GTR, that's $100-something thousand now, brand new. Why would you buy that when the new Corvette is so cool? It's just, I don't know, it's crazy with the pricing and what you get with the new Corvette that every other sports car I think is going to hurt because of it. And for Supra potential buyers, myself, obviously, it's just making me value the Supra less, which is unfortunate for Toyota, honestly. They spent a lot of money probably making this new car, working with BMW, getting it squared away. But now it's just looking at numbers, it's not that far off from the new car. And again, I have 1 year until I can actually go in and pick up a Corvette, so I have a year to do something with. But in a year from now, if I have a new Supra that I've already bought a year previous, which is now, is it going to be worth a lot less? I don't know. So that's kind of my dilemma, and I'm sure a lot of other people are in the same boat with buying any new car right now, any new sports car. the new benchmark is the new Corvette, and that is just so much car for the money. I think it just undervalues every other car. And another thing with that, so with the Corvette in general, I think we all know the average Corvette owner isn't exactly a younger person like myself. Every time I see a Corvette, the person has gray hair. So it's obviously an older man's car. My uncle, who's 67 years old, he's had 3 Corvettes. He's a Corvette guy. All of his friends are Corvette guys. The average, buyer of a Corvette is probably 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. But with the new mid-engine car, I think they have appealed to the younger generation. The millennials, which are, the early 90s, the 80s kids, we are the ones who have all the buying power right now. So they needed to appeal to us younger people, and now all of us, I know our average viewer is like 18 to 40, which is probably not the Corvette buyers. We like the new car. We all really like it. We like Lamborghinis, McLarens, Ferraris. Those are the cars that we like. And now with this new Corvette being something that we really like, I think Chevrolet has finally made the Corvette a young person's car, something that we want to own. And with that, I think it's now making the C7 even more desirable, because obviously Mike was looking at buying one now. We're still considering trading the R8 for one. And even looking at that, that's going to be $15,000 less than the new Supra. So I could go ahead and just buy a C7 for myself, have that for a year, and trade that for the C8. And you're talking about a V8 car. I can easily throw on a supercharger. I can have a normal Corvette with a supercharger with all the mods for the same price as the new Supra. And that again is just crazy with the numbers. So yeah, the new Corvette has definitely thrown a wrench in my whole plans for the Supra, and I think a lot of other people are in the same boat. I still want the new Supra. I still like it. It's an amazing car. It'll be my normal, daily, awesome car that I keep for a long time, hopefully. Unless next year they come out with a better one, and if the new one is the same price that these ones are now, then depreciation will kill this first batch of Supras. If the newer Supra is somehow more expensive, then it'll be good, but I don't know. It's a lot to think about. So that's kind of, I guess, what I had for today's video. Kind of just rambling some thoughts out there. It's just pretty crazy how big of an impact this new Corvette has already had. And yeah, I have a lot to think about. I probably have a few weeks until this white Supra is coming to the dealer, so I'm going to be thinking a lot. And when it does get here, obviously we're going to go over the real numbers, the final numbers. Take this Toyota Guard thing off because I'm not paying for that. I'm going to negotiate this car down because it's just not worth spending more on, which unfortunate for Toyota in all honesty. But I think that's about everything I had to say in this video. Comment down below. Corvette, new Supra, C7 Corvette, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, whatever. Let's have some conversations in the description below about what you guys think the impact on the sports car world is because of this new Corvette, because it is an amazing car for a pretty amazing price. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, because hopefully we have either new Supras, new Corvettes, something crazy coming to the channel really soon. But anyway, that is it guys. I'll see you next video.